What's good, YouTubers and YouTubettes? This is JB Sports back again with another one. Tyson Fury, the Gypsy King, is out here blasting Luis Ortiz in his fight coming up with Deontay Wilder. He says he's 147 years old and he was in his prime 45 years ago, and Wilder should easily beat him, KO him. He basically said that, he's been knocked out in the first fight, and it's already ingrained in his mind that he was knocked out. So he's already mentally beaten going into the Wilder rematch. So that's what Fury is stating. And the reason why he's saying this is because Deontay Wilder blasted his opponent of Otto Wallin a couple of weeks ago when he was doing the commentary for the Konoski-Arreola fight. He blasted that, saying he's basically fighting a cab driver and a ditch digger. So Tyson Fury is responding in kind and basically blasting Luis Ortiz as an opponent for Wilder. He says both of the guys should come through, him and Wilder, and that should set up a fight for them in February 22nd, 2020, Las Vegas. So we'll see what transpires, man, but he's just doing a little payback in his mind because, like I said, Wilder, didn't condone his opponent. So, he's been saying a lot of things about Wilder. Can't keep Wilder's name out of his mouth. Basically saying that Wilder, and him are going to fight. It's going to be a firefight, and somebody's getting knocked out. It's not going to the judges. Either him or Wilder will get KO'd because he said he doesn't think he's going to get a fair shake with the judging in the U.S., so he's going to go for the knockout. Knowing that when you look at his career, the guy hasn't, knocked out anybody that's, a high-level fighter. He fought Klitschko. That was a boring fight, but he was able to outpoint him. He outpointed Chisora twice. He's outpointed other fighters. What he fought, what's the guy that was trained by Nassim Richardson, the guy that was a military guy from the U.S. That was his Fury U.S. debut. He was able to he got dropped actually in that fight, and he was able to come back and win that fight. But he's not a knockout artist, man. He's not a George Foreman. He's not a Mike Tyson. He called himself the UK Muhammad Ali. So that's just what he is. He's a guy that's a boxer, slick movement, good head movement. He's hard to hit. He does a lot of movement in the ring. What they call a cute boxer. That's what he is. He's not a seek and destroy guy. So he's doing a lot of talking, trying to promote his fight with Otto Wallin, trying to make a lot of outrageous statements and trying to shed light on the fight that nobody cares about with him and Otto Wallin. That's why he's trying to down talk Luis Ortiz. Fury, if you beat your next opponent, Otto Wallin, and say Luis Ortiz pulls an upset and beats Deontay Wilder, will you fight Luis Ortiz in your next fight? Doubtful. You're not going to fight him. Not going to fight him. You saying this guy's 147 years old, man. But this guy's a top 5 heavyweight. You look at Wilder, Fury, Andy Ruiz, and then you got Luis Ortiz right there. Anthony Joshua. That's probably your top 5 heavyweights right there. So he's definitely a top 5 heavyweight. Where does Otto Wallin rank? Is he even top 25? Is he top 30? Is he even top 50? That guy, you're going to have a long roll call of top heavyweights before you call Otto Wallin's name. That's for sure. So you need to get ready and fight this guy, another tomato can, another glorified ditch digger, and Otto Wallin. Take care of business and look good while you're taking care of business. And get ready to fight Deontay Wilder February 22nd of 2020. And keep Deontay Wilder's opponent's name out your mouth, and keep Deontay Wilder's name out your mouth, because he's trying to fight the best, and you also are not trying to fight the best. You sit up here and lied and said, well, I tried to fight Miller, I tried to fight Pulev, and I tried to fight Povetkin, and I tried to fight all these top heavyweights, but they didn't want to fight. They were either unavailable or unwilling to fight me. But that's turned out to be nothing but a bald-faced lie, because Gerald Miller and his team said, nah, man, we didn't have any substantial talks with fight in regards to fighting Tyson Fury. They reached out to us, but it was nothing substantial. Just check and see if we were interested, but we never got to the nuts and bolts of negotiations for a fight with Tyson Fury. Same thing with Povetkin. He said the same thing. He said, nah, man, I didn't hear anything about fighting Tyson Fury. Pulev said the same thing. Basically, Pulev said Tyson Fury was clout chasing. He said they ain't came to him or his team talking about a potential matchup with Tyson Fury. So the guy's, like I said, he's doing a lot of talking, trying to promote his fight. He knows the fight is a joke, boxing disgrace, fighting Otto Wilder, especially after you fought Tom Schwartz. We give you one bum, but you're going to back that up and fight another bum? Come on, man. Otto Wilder is better than Tom Schwartz. Let's not get that twisted, but that's not saying much. That's basically saying, okay, I had a Hugo car, and now I got a Volkswagen. You know what I'm saying? It's not much of an upgrade. It's still two trash cars. It ain't like you went from a Hugo to a Mercedes. You know what I'm saying? Mercedes-Benz. You went from a Hugo to a Volkswagen. You know what I'm saying? So, it's not much of an upgrade. So, you need to, like I said, take care of business. The fight is signed, sealed, and delivered as far as fighting Otto Wilder. Take care of business and get ready to fight Deontay Wilder, man. And quit trying to down talk Luis Ortiz, a guy that, if he fought you, that probably, a lot of people say that'd be a 50-50 fight. And then a guy that would, destroy Otto Wilder. You put Otto Wilder in the ring with Luis Ortiz knocks Otto Wilder out inside 7 rounds. And he would destroy him. You can say, oh, well, he had a hard time with Kaufman, and he had a hard time with this and that guy after he fought Wilder. But Kaufman would whoop Otto Wilder. Kaufman is not a bad fighter. Travis Kaufman, he's not a bad fighter. That was a guy that they was slated actually to fight you. When you was talking with Eddie Hearn, a 3 or 4 fight deal that was going to lead to an Anthony Joshua fight, Travis Kaufman was one of the opponents that you were supposed to be fighting. So it's not like this guy that Luis Ortiz beat. It's not it's not a credible opponent. The guy is, to me, a top 15, top 20 fighter, Travis Kaufman. So he's a guy that can test a lot of the top guys out there, and he's a good litmus test for a lot of the young guys coming up. Like Travis Kaufman would be a good fight for Daniel Dubois at this stage of his career. Travis Kaufman would be a good fight for Jabe. He'd be a good test and see where those guys at this point of their careers. So that guy's a much credible opponent, and for you to down talk him because he fought Luis Ortiz, and Luis Ortiz hasn't fought a top-level fighter since he fought Deontay Ruiz. Since he fought Deontay Wilder, I beg to differ. I think Luis Ortiz, you look at his resume, he's fought top-level opponents. A lot of people really don't want to fight him. He wanted to fight Dylan White. Dylan White wanted no part of him. He tried to fight other opponents. He tried to get a fight with George Joyce. George Joyce was clout chasing, using his name, and didn't have any intention of fighting Ortiz. So Ortiz is a guy that a lot of people want to point out his age. Oh, he's 105 years old. He's 147 years old. People like Dylan White and Tyson Fury, but none of those guys are trying to fight him, as Deontay Wilder has so eloquently stated. Nobody's trying to fight him. Everybody's saying how old he is, but if he's so old, get your behind in the ring with him and beat that old man. Because if you beat him, that's a notch on your resume. Because he's a top 5 heavyweight. He's a guy that's only lost was to Deontay Wilder, the longest reigning heavyweight champion in boxing. So that'd be a good notch on your resume. Just like people saying Pacquiao old, but you see Errol Spence trying to get a fight with him. Sean Porter trying to get a fight with him. You ask Terence Crawford would he want to fight with Manny Pacquiao. I bet you he'll take that fight in that payday. So you can talk about age and he being old and all you want, man. Our guy's still producing at a high level. And that answer is yes, as far as Luis Ortiz goes. He's fighting at a high level. So is Manny Pacquiao. So is Bernard Hopkins when he fought. He was fighting in his late 40s, beating guys like Kelly Pavlik and beating guys like John Pascal. So he's fighting at a high level. So age ain't nothing but a number, as Jay-Z said. So quit bringing the age up to try to downgrade Luis Ortiz, man. He's a top-tier heavyweight, and that fight between him and Deontay Wilder, hopefully it'll get announced real soon. I'm looking forward to it. This is JB Sports, the man, the myth, the legend. I holla.